Hello everyone. So in this program of mapping for your prelims 2025, we will continue our discussion. In last session we have identified some of the important locations related to the Asia, Africa, Australia and also the Europe. So first we will cover the remaining two continents, important continents, North America and South America, and then we'll move to the most important component of mapping, that is the India mapping. So we will cover the India mapping and also some of the recent happenings, so the places that happens to be much in the news, that also we will cover. So let's start with the North America. So North America से हम लोग start करते हैं. North America is very important from the mapping perspective, and also North America is very important because North America gives you lots of examples that can be utilized, that can be used in other areas of the geography. So in other areas of the geography, you will find that North America is very interesting, very important geographically. North America lies completely in the northern hemisphere, because equator is not passing from the North America. If you will look out the latitudinal extent of North America, you will find roughly 7° north is the starting point of the North America. Latitudinal extent is going to be very crucial for all the continent. So almost from the 7° north, the North America starts, means completely North America lies in the northern hemisphere. So it's a northern hemispheric continent. North America is having two major latitude which is passing from the North America. So when you will identify the major latitude, so you will find two major latitude is crossing the North America, and these two major latitudes are referred as Arctic Circle. So Arctic Circle and also Tropic of Cancer. So North American landmass is part of the two major latitudes, Arctic Circle and the Tropic of Cancer. Now the interesting part is, when you will look out the North America landmass, North America extends almost from the 7° north, and it is extending beyond 80° north. So it is having a great latitudinal extent, and wherever you will have the great latitudinal extent, there you will find that we have a more variety of the climatic condition, because on the earth surface climate is primarily based on the latitudinal position. So broadly you will find on the earth surface, if you will look out the climates, so nearby the equator you will have the tropical climate, जिसको आप torrid zone भी कहते हैं, then we have the temperate zone, and then you will have the frigid zone or simply polar zone. So when latitudinal extent is almost from the 7° and it is running up to the 80°, so we have the chances of all the climates. So North America is very unique in this sense. That is why the North America is very interesting from the geographer's perspective, both specifically the climate meteorologist, climatologist, क्योंकि यहाँ पे आपको सभी climate मिलेंगे, diversity of the climate. You can have the tropical climate where the summers will be hot, winters will be mild, specifically in the coastal area nearby the Gulf of Mexico region, but also you will find that most part of the north of northern Canada, Greenland, majority part will be covered, snow covered. So it will be covered through the ice because of this latitudinal extent. So latitudinal extent is giving it variety of the climate. Now interesting point, North America extend from the almost 7° to 80°, but majority of the land mass of North America lies in the temperate area. So North America can be said to be a temperate continent. So this is like Africa. You can remember this easily कि अफ्रीका जैसे आपका ट्रॉपिकल है, उसी तरीके से नॉर्थ अमेरिका इज प्राइमरली द टेम्परेट. So temperate climate is dominating, and if the temperate climate is, means summer is not going to be very hot, winter depending upon that whether the northern temperate is more dominating or the southern temperate is more dominating, पोल्स के पास ज़्यादा एरिया लैंड मास है या इक्वेटर के पास एरिया लैंड मास है, उसके डिपेंडिंग आप देखेंगे कि वेदर द विंटर्स आर वेरी सीवियर विंटर और विंटर्स आर माइल्ड. सो हियर ऑल्सो यू कैन सी व्हेन यू विल लुक आउट द extent of North America, the shape of North America you will find in the southern side North America tapers. So southern side North America tapers. As the North America tapers means less land mass lies nearby the tropical zone. Majority of the land mass of North America lies in the northern side. That is why North America happens to be primarily, predominantly northern temperate. So it is a temperate continent, but most part of the North America lies in the northern temperate, and because of this northern temperate, here you will have the summers will be mild, but the winter will be very severe. So severe cold will prevail in most part of the northern side, specifically the Canada, Alaska. These are the area where the complete snow cover you will find in the winter season. Next information of the North America is physiographic features of the North America. Before the physiographic features, two very important locations. One of the location we already have located, but again located, Bering Strait. So Bering Strait is a strait which separates the North America with the Asia. So Bering Strait separates North America with the Asia, and near to this Bering Strait, the international date line is also passing. So international date line passes from this nearby the Bering Strait. Below the Bering Strait you will find Aleutian Island is there. So Aleutian Island के बीच से आपके Aleutian Island के nearby you will find the international date line. International date line more or less runs along the 180-degree longitude. 180-degree longitude को completely follow नहीं करती, for the convenience, because international date line is a agreed upon line, and along which that there will be a change of the date. So if you are in 179-degree west and you are moving to the other side of the international date line, so suddenly 179-degree east, so suddenly there will be change of the date. So if it's a 25th of April, on the other side it will become 24th of April, 26th of April, depending upon from which side you are moving to which side. So international date line runs very near to the Bering Strait. So Bering Strait के पास से आपकी international date line पास होती है. Southern side आएंगे, so in southern side you will find there is a land mass. That land mass joins the North America with the South America, and it is simply known as Isthmus of Panama. So Isthmus of Panama. Isthmus of Panama is a small piece of land, and this small piece of land joins the Isthmus of Panama. This Isthmus of Panama is a small piece of land which joins the North America with the South America. North America और South America को connect करता है. Now the interesting information, one interesting information that you need to remember, that North America and South America geologically belong to the different land masses. North America was part of the Angara land, whereas South America happens to be the part of the Gondwana land. So North America happens to be the part of Angara land, and South America happens to be part of Gondwana land. So they have the different geological history. So when you will look out in the present time period, you can see North America and South America is connected. But North America and South America has not been connected right from the beginning in the process of the formation. तो जब आपका Gondwana land, initially it was the Pangaea got divided in two pieces. One piece became the Angara land, northern side, and southern side became the Gondwana land. And this Angara land has further divided. So while drifting, it has further divided, and some portions of this Angara land has started drifting westward, and ultimately the Atlantic Ocean got opened, and in this process there is a formation of the North America. तो जो North America है, geologically ये अलग है, South America अलग है, both are separate. But in the present time period, you can see that North America and South America is joined. So this joining part is being presented by the Isthmus of Panama. Isthmus of Panama connects the North America with the South America. In fact, if you will try to visualize on the world map, so in the world map you will find North America and South America is connected, and North America became over the period of time, North America and the Europe's trade started booming, specifically in the, you will find that North America has been primarily discovered, and the discovery of North America is also very interesting, because the Columbus was not interested in discovering any other island. Columbus was very much interested in discovering the India, and he was sailing, and ultimately he reached to a landmass, and that landmass for very long time he considered that the landmass he has reached happens to be the India, but later on they realized that this is not the India, and they have come out with a new landmass, new world, that is the North America. So because it has been discovered by the Europeans over the period of time, when in Europe there was a large scale scarcity of the land, population density started increasing. So in that way people have started migrating from the Europe to North America. So North America has been mostly inhabited by the Europeans. So Europeans have inhabited the North America, and over the period of time the North Americans cultural history is very much associated with the Europe, and this living of the North American European peoples have started also more relation with the Europe in the form of trade. When the trade has started booming, so when you are trading in the eastern side, it is going to be very easy. You just need to sail the Atlantic Ocean and you will reach in the eastern side. But when you want to send some of the items either from the Europe to the western side or from the western side to the Europe, it is going to be a very Herculean task, because you need to cross the entire North America along the Pacific, then only you can reach up to the Europe. So it was thought that, and also please always keep in mind that sending the goods, trading will always be easy via the oceanic routes, because on the land either whatever the mode you can utilize, be it your trains or be it your other road transport, it is going to be a little bit costly, and also at the same time in one go it will not be easy to transport large scale goods, the kind of goods we can transport via the oceanic routes. So that is why later on this Isthmus of Panama has been carved out, and यहाँ पे आपकी we have constructed a canal, that is the Panama Canal. Panama Canal happens to be one of the busiest canal, because it provides a linkage of Atlantic Ocean and Pacific Ocean. Now through the Panama Canal we can cross this Isthmus of Panama, and we can reach from the Atlantic to the Pacific part. So we have a first Isthmus of Panama. Now the next thing that you need to know is the physiographic structure of North America. North America is very beautiful, very you can say it's one of the very unique kind of physiography that is present in North America, and very simple physiography prevails in the North America. All along the western side of the North America lies the mountains. So mountains lies in the western side, and in eastern side also lies the mountains, but these mountains are not of that height, that is why we call it as highland. So western side mountains, eastern side highland, and in between lies the plains. That plain is known as the Great Plains of North America, also the Central Plain. तो physiography बहुत ही interesting physiography है. This is a plain. So if you will travel from the Pacific toward the Atlantic, so first you will encounter the mountain, after the mountain you will encounter the plain, after the plain you will encounter the mountain, but these mountains happens to be the old mountain, and over the period of time these mountains have been eroded. Because of the erosion, now their height has been degraded. nowhere you will find the mountains are more than of 2000 meter. That is why we are using the term highland. So don't get confused. If it will be asked in the form of like whether it's a fold mountain or the block mountain, so always remember, even the eastern side mountain also happens to be the fold mountain, but these are the relict mountain, these are the eroded mountain. So erosion ज़्यादा हो गया है, and because of that erosion, we simply call these mountains as a highland. So in case of North America, you will find the eastern side lies highland, the western side like mountain, and in between the plain. This is the physiography. Now this physiography will give you lots of insights. What insight or what things you need to remember? The very first thing that you need to remember, in last session also I highlighted that for the survival, for the living, the most important thing that the humans initially needed, and in fact till today humans are needing, that is the food. So food happens to be a very important component, and food is directly associated with the agriculture, and agriculture always be good when you will have the physiography is plain. Other things come later. The very first requirement is the plain. So agar aapko, if you need to compare the plain hilly area, so in plain and hilly area, plain and plateau, plain obviously will have a more advantage for the agriculture in comparison to the hilly area. So here also you will have the plain area, and this plain area is well suited for the agriculture. But of course, other than the geological feature, other than the physiographic feature, climatic feature also dominates. So climatic features also important for the agriculture, but in a sequence. Like first thing you needed the plain, and whether that plain is having the suitable climatic condition or not, so that we will look out. But one thing that you need to remember, that in central part we have a vast plain. One of the most extensive plain on the earth's surface you will find, uninterrupted plain you will find in the North America. So in North America we have an uninterrupted plain that is known as the Great Plains of North America. Now in this western side, the mountains, because these are the running mountains, continuous mountain, these are also known as cordilleras. So these are also known as cordillera, that is western cordillera. So right from this Bering Strait till Isthmus of Panama, we have a long running mountains, and these long running mountains are simply known as the western cordillera. So some of the important ranges of this western cordillera we will locate. So कुछ important ranges locate करेंगे. So we have the Alaska range. So Alaska range you will find in the Alaska. Alaska is a state of North America. In fact, Alaska is the only state of North America which is having access to Pacific Ocean as well as Arctic Ocean. So Alaska is a very important, very unique characteristic in terms of the geographical position within the USA. So here we will find the Alaska, and the highest point of this Alaska range is the Mount McKinley. Mount McKinley is there. This Mount McKinley in present time period it is known as Denali. So Mount Denali. So the name of this Mount McKinley is also Mount Denali. Nearby you will find one more range, that is Mount Mackenzie range. So Mount Mackenzie you will find. Then going south you will find Coast range. Parallel आपको range मिलेंगी. So first you will have Alaska range, then you will have the Coast range. Coast range आपकी run करती रहेगी, and little bit east of this Coast range you will find Cascade range. तो यहाँ पे आपको मिलेगी Cascade range. This is Cascade range. South of this Cascade range you will come across one more range named as the Sierra Nevada. So in a sequence you need to remember. So first you will have Alaska range. South of Alaska range, all along the coast we have the coast range. So south of Alaska range, all along the coast you will have the coast range, and east of the coast range you will have Cascade range. So coast range आपकी coast के पास में, little bit east of coast range you will find the Cascade range, and south of the Cascade range you will find the Sierra Nevada mountain. South of the Sierra Nevada mountain you will find we have a large scale deserts. तो यहाँ पे बहुत सारे आपको desert मिलेंगे. So one of the desert happens to be Mojave Desert. So one of the desert is Mojave Desert, Sonoran Desert, and here you will have eastern side is known as Chihuahuan Desert. Here we have Sonoran Desert, S-O-N-O-R-A-N, Sonoran Desert. Here we have Chihuahuan Desert, and here we have Mojave Desert. All along this you will find desert area, specifically in the western side of Gulf of Mexico. So nearby the northern side of Mexico you will find we have a presence of large scale deserts, Mojave Desert, Sonoran Desert, Chihuahuan Desert. Here itself you can locate the Gulf of California. So we have the California Peninsula and we have the Gulf of California. In fact, this desert extend up to this Great Basin. So ये जो आपका desert है, this desert is extending up to the almost Great Basin, and this area is known for large scale geographical feature. So mostly this Arizona region is known for the presence of large scale geographical feature. So few of the more location we will locate of this western Cordillera. So first you will have Alaska range, south of Alaska range coast range, then we have the Cascade range, Sierra Nevada, also you will have the Mojave, Sonoran, Chihuahuan Desert. South of this you will find one more very interesting range that you will come across in the Mexico. So which range you will find in the Mexico? Here we have Sierra Madre Occidental, Sierra Madre Oriental, and Sierra Madre del Sur. So this is only one mountain, Sierra Madre mountain, but these are having a different names. So Sierra Madre Occidental is also known as Western Sierra Madre. This Sierra Madre Oriental is also known as Eastern Sierra Madre, and this Sierra Madre del Sur is Southern Sierra Madre. So Occidental, Oriental, del Sur, and in between you will find the capital city of Mexico is located, that is the Mexico City, and here itself you can locate one very interesting mountain, and also it is a volcanic peak, that is Popocatépetl. So Popocatépetl is a volcanic mountain, Popocatépetl, Popocatépetl. It is an important volcanic peak that you need to locate. Height is around 5452. Highest point जो है आपका Mount McKinley है, that is in Alaska range. So in Alaska range you will have the highest mountain. One more important peak that you need to locate, that is the Mount Whitney. So Mount Whitney is 4418, that you need to locate. Now we'll locate the most important mountain of North America, that is the Rocky Mountain. तो Western Cordillera का जो सबसे important peak है, the most important peak of the Western Cordillera and North America is the Rocky Mountain. Rocky Mountain is a fold mountain. So Rocky Mountain is a fold mountain, and it is one of the most important most important peak, that is Rocky Mountain. Here some of the peaks you can locate is the Mount Elbert, that is 4399. Then we have Mount Blanc, BLANCA, 4398. So 4398 is the highest peak here, 4399, Mount Elbert, Mount Blanc. So these two important peaks that you need to locate. Now, there are lots of plateau here. So in case of western side, Western Cordillera, that is predominantly dominated by the fold mountains, here we have lots of plateau, and in western side of the North America, we have a presence of large scale fold mountain, and in between you will find the plateau, and these plateaus that are lying in between the mountains, fold mountains, are simply known as the intermontane plateau. So intermontane plateaus are the plateaus that are present within the fold mountains, and here we have lots of intermontane plateaus like Columbian Plateau is there, we have the Colorado Plateau. So these are the intermontane plateaus. So intermontane plateaus are present within the fold mountain. Here you can locate one very important point, that is the Death Valley. So Death Valley is the lowest point of North America. Death Valley is the lowest point of North America, and it lies in the western Cordilleras only, western side of the North America. Nearby this Death Valley, one very important geographical feature that you need to locate is the Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon. So Grand Canyon is nearby this Death Valley only, and Grand Canyon is located on the river Colorado. Canyon is very similar to the gorge. So like we have the gorge, and geographically we are not having the much difference between the gorge and the canyon, but yes, of course, in case of gorge you will find the slopes are very much steeper, whereas in case of canyon the walls are more or less vertical. So in case of canyon, the side walls will be more or less very much vertical, and in gorge there will be little bit steepness. So the chances of survival is very bleak in case of canyon, that is the Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon happens to be a very important geographical feature. This is present in the Arizona, and it is formed by the river Colorado. This attracts lots of tourists, this Grand Canyon. So it's a great attraction also. Nearby you will find that we have a very popular national park also. So national park bhi yahan pe aapko milega. So these are the some of the important locations of western side, that is Western Cordillera. Now coming to the eastern side, when you will look out the eastern side, as I said that eastern side is nothing but it is a highland. In eastern side we have the two important mountains that you need to locate. One is the Canadian Shield and another one is the Appalachian Mountain. Canadian Shield, Appalachian Mountain, these represents the highland, and in fact both of these, that is Canadian Shield and the Appalachian Mountain, happens to be the rich depository of resources. So these two are also happens to be known for the large scale presence of the minerals, and due to the presence of the mineral, wherever you will have the presence of the mineral, there will be a greater chances that these minerals will be utilized in the industry, and it will help in the industrialization. In fact, that is the reason that why this entire region, entire belt of Eastern Highland is a highly industrialized belt, but in that highly industrialized belt, it is mainly the metallurgical industry that are dominating. Western side you will find less, specifically in USA, that is the most developed country on the earth surface. Within the USA you will find most part of the USA is industrialized, but if you look out the pattern of the industry, you will find the eastern side and western side we have the more presence of the industry, and eastern side industries are mainly the metallurgical industry, whereas the western side industries you will find those western side industries are service based industry. IT, सॉफ्टवेयर, सो एंटरटेनमेंट, तो ये आपको इंडस्ट्री ज़्यादा वेस्टर्न साइड में मिलेंगी क्योंकि वहाँ पे मिनरल्स कंपेरेटिवली कम है. सो मिनरल्स आर प्रीडोमिनेंटली प्रेजेंट इन दिस Canadian Shield region and the Appalachian region, Appalachian Mountain. Now in this Canadian Shield, eastern side we have a coast of Labrador. There we have the plateau, that is the Laurentian plateau. So you can locate this Laurentian plateau. Then in Appalachian Mountain, we have a very famous Mount Michel. So Mount Michel is the highest peak of this Appalachian Mountain, and the height of the Mount Michel is 2037 meter. So Mount Michel 2037 meter. North of this Appalachian Mountain you will find we have Mount Washington. So north of Appalachian Mountain you will have the Mount Washington. The height of the Mount Washington is 1917. So 1917 is the height of Mount Washington. So these are the few important peaks of this eastern highland. Now before moving to the few more geographical feature, let's focus on the climate. तो कुछ climate के बारे में समझिए. So in North America you will find we have a western side physiography. This western side represents the mountain and eastern side is being represented by the highland. Now this middle part is wide open, and because this middle part is wide open specifically for the winds, so winds can penetrate in this area, specifically the polar easterly. So polar easterly can travel freely within this great plains or the central plains, and whenever the polar easterlies will travel, polar easterlies will affect the area, especially in the winter season. So in winter season this entire stretch, this wide stretch will become like a barren land, like how we have in the Tibet region. So very similar to that region it will become, but the nature has done some kind of balancing. So कुछ balancing act किया है. Otherwise this entire part of the North America, central part of the North America will be always affected by the polar easterly, and due to the proximity to the polar easterly, here the freezing condition will prevail. But in winter season there will be some of the winds that will blow, and these winds happens to be the local winds. So local winds blows within this region during the winter season. Now very interesting thing, that is a little bit climatic concept, and I am hopeful that you must be knowing, and if you are not having the clarity of the some of the important climatic concept, so I will take up that climatic concept in the next session. तो climate में specifically wind का movement किस तरीके से, how the wind moves, what are the forces that affect the movement of the wind, so that we will take up in the next session. So what you just need to understand that local winds is of two types, warm local winds and the cold local wind, and generally as a student you think that the warm local winds will blow during the summer season because of the our association, our more knowledge, awareness about the Lu, but that is not right in every case. Most of the warm or hot local winds blows during the autumn season or the early winter season. So here also there is a wind which blows in this western side of the western part of the North America in the form of Chinook. Now the Chinook blows from the upper part of the Rocky Mountain in the eastern side of the Rocky. So in the eastern side of the Rocky Mountain we have a presence of the Chinook, and Chinook happens to be the extremely dry wind. extremely hot wind. And when these chinooks will slide down from the mountains, upper part of the mountain, it will bring hotness. Because of the hotness, most of the ice, most of the snow cover will get melted. And when the snow cover will get melted, this melting will create a large scale waterlogging. But this melting is not going to create large scale waterlogging, because the wind is very dry also. So the wind do two things. First, it will clear the snow, and then it will also clear the water. That is why it got a nickname as snow eater. Snow eater. So snow eater, Chinook, Chchinook. So what you just need to remember, that we have the presence of Chinook, and Chinook is blowing in this rocky mountain, and because of this presence of Chinook, the area will not have the freezing condition, ice cover during the winter, and the area will be suitable, area will be open for the agricultural activity. So geographical condition, how geographical condition shape any area, one of the best example we can see in the eastern part of the Rocky Mountain. Imagine the situation, imagine the condition if Chinook was not blowing. If the Chinook was not blowing in this central part of North America, almost for the 6 months of the year, that area was supposed to be a cold, barren area. But due to the presence of the Chinook, Chinook will raise the temperature, melt the ice. Not only it will melt the ice, but it will also take away all the moisture, and in this process of the blowing of the Chinook, the area will be well suited for the agricultural activity. In fact, this central part of North America is having a temperate climatic condition, and temperate climatic condition, the water availability is not good, but still it is capable of sustaining the grassland. So here we have the steppe vegetation. Those steppe grasses, those steppe land have been cleared off, and ultimately it is being utilized for the agricultural activity. So this belt of the Great Plain is mainly the steppe belt, but here it has different name, other name, and the name here is prairies. So here the steppe is simply known as the prairies, and these prairies happens to be the same characteristic what you have learned in case of steppe. So this is also known for the wheat cultivation, and most of the wheat cultivated here is for the sale, for the commercial activity, for the trading activity, and this selling of the wheat gives lots of money. Over the period of time, food processing industry has also thrived in this area, and it has resulted into the overall development. In fact, when you will have such a vast land, so this vast stretch of the land is not only going to be suitable for the agricultural activity, but it also be helpful for the cattle rearing, for the ranching. So cattle rearing is also very much prevalent in this area, and cattle are reared for both the purposes, for the woolen purpose as well as for the milk purpose. Over the period of time, here the woolen is not that much utilized, so here we have the meat slaughterhouses. So dairy industry is there, slaughterhouses are there, so both for the purpose of meat as well as milk purpose, the cattle are reared in this Great Plain area. Agriculture, as far as agriculture is concerned, the most dominating area of North America for the agriculture is this Great Plain area. और यहाँ पे जो आपकी एग्रीकल्चर होगी, पॉलिटिकल मैप में देखते हैं, सो जो एग्रीकल्चर एक्टिविटी होगी, सो एग्रीकल्चर is primarily associated in this prairie land. तो ये prairie land में आपकी agriculture होगी, और यहाँ पे जो main crop होगी that will be wheat. So wheat will be most important crop. Secondary crop, wheat तो सबसे important है, wheat के बाद जो secondary crop होगी that will be the maize, and after the maize the area that will not be suitable for the cultivation of wheat and maize, दोनों ही नहीं होगा, तो वहाँ पे they will go for the cultivation of the barley. Barley is mostly utilized for the feeding purpose. So it is the cattle feed, it is the animal feed, and also it is utilized in the beer breweries industry. So beer manufacturing के लिए भी use होता है, that is the barley. Other than this, the coastal area, especially this Gulf of Mexico coastal region, this coastal region is well suited, well known for the cultivation of cotton, tobacco. So cotton and tobacco happens to be the two more important crops that are being cultivated in this land, especially this Cuba and other parts of the West Indies region is known for the cultivation of sugar cane. So sugar cane is also being cultivated at small scale. In fact, Cuba is known as a sugar bowl of the world because of the large scale cultivation. Large area is being dedicated for the cultivation of the sugar cane. So sugar cane भी है आपका. Also banana. So Jamaica is popularly known for the banana. This West Indies region is known for the cultivation of sugar cane, banana plantation crops. Now few more geographical locations of the North America. So we have a Beaufort Sea, which water bodies locate करते हैं. So we have a Beaufort Sea. Also we have a Hudson Bay, one of the largest bay. Then we have a Labrador Sea. Labrador Sea is known for the presence of Labrador current, and that Labrador current is cold current, and that Labrador current is known to for the drowning of the very famous Titanic ship. So it was the Labrador current who has brought the iceberg. That iceberg has ultimately caused the drowning of the ships of Titanic. Here itself we will find the area of Newfoundland area. So this Newfoundland area known for the extensive fishing. So this happens to be one of the best fishing ground on the earth surface. That is the Newfoundland area. Coming to the south, you will find we have a Gulf of Mexico. Gulf of Mexico, you will find we have a Yucatan Channel. So we have a Yucatan Channel. Then we have a Gulf of California, Gulf of Alaska, Bering Sea. So these are some of the water bodies. Here we have a ocean that is known as Sargasso Sea. So Sargasso Sea, you need to know this. Sargasso Sea is the only sea that is not having the border. It is known as the only sea without borders. Why it is known as the only sea without the border? Because Sargasso Sea is not a actual sea. This is the area where the oceanic currents are circulating in such a manner that it creates a condition that waters appears to be distinct, water appears to be different, because we have the 4 ocean currents that are continuously circulating. In the northern Atlantic Ocean, we have a north equatorial current, we have a Gulf Stream, we have a particularly other currents like Atlantic Drift. Atlantic Drift is there. So the ocean currents basically circulate in such a manner that water appears to be circulating, and there we have a presence of a weed. That weed is known as the sargassum weed. So sargassum weed आपको यहाँ पे मिलेगा. उसी sargassum weed की वजह से this is known as the Sargasso Sea. So we have Sargasso Sea, the only sea without coast. Only sea without the coast. All right. सरगासो सी में हियर आपको सदर्न साइड नॉर्थ इक्वेटोरियल करंट है, यहाँ पे आपकी गल्फ स्ट्रीम है, हियर विल हैव द नॉर्थ एटलांटिक ड्रिफ्ट यहाँ पे आपको मिलेगी, हियर आपको मिलेगी, बट दिस इज अ कोल्ड करंट, तो ये आपको मिलेगी कैनरी करंट. सो कैनरी current is considered as the current which is having some role for the formation of Sahara Desert, the largest desert on the earth surface, hot desert, canary current. So ये जो आपका circulation होता है पानी का, this circulation happens in such a manner that it gives an impression of this ocean. So Sargasso Sea, please remember, Sargasso Sea is not a actual sea. Sargasso Sea is a sea that is formed by the circulation of the water through the ocean currents. Now in this North America, we have two very important countries, that is the USA and Canada. On the world scale, if we look out, the largest country, so the largest country in terms of area happens to be the Russia. After Russia we have Canada, after Canada we have the USA, after USA we have the China. So four major country in terms of area now. If you know this, it is not going to be a tough task for you if you will be asked that which of the country will have the longest border, which of the two country will have the longest border, because for the longest border it is very important that the country's size should also be comparatively bigger. When we have the bigger size, large size country, so in large size the chances of the border will also be larger obviously. So here we have a Canada and USA. This Canada and USA shares the longest border because रसिया के साथ आपका चाइना का, रसिया के साथ कनाडा का बॉर्डर है नहीं, यूएसए का बॉर्डर थोड़ा सा है इन अलास्का. सो द ओनली पॉसिबिलिटी, और बीच में यहाँ पे वाटर बॉडी है दैट इज द बेरिंग स्ट्रेट, सो द ओनली पॉसिबिलिटी इज रसिया एंड चाइना, बट अगेन small portions of the China is having the border with the Russia. So if you will be asked that which two countries share the longest border, so answer will be USA and Canada. So whenever such type of questions are being asked, like whenever such type of questions are being asked, it was last year's question only. The longest border between any two countries in the world is between Canada and the USA, Chile and Argentina, China and India, Kazakhstan and Russian Federation. So if you will look out this question, so might be it will appear to you that this is a very tricky question. It will appear to you that this is a very tough question. But if you will use your common sense, then you will come across that this is a very easy question. But yes, it is also right that specifically in examination, common sense is not so common, because you will be in such a panic situation that this type of question will also look like that I don't know the length of the border. And in fact, after this question, a lot of students have started cramming the border length. That is not the way out how you should treat the map, that is not the way out how you should treat the geography. Geography is not about the cramming the things. Geography is all about visualization, and that visualization should be in your mind and applying that visualization. This is purely related to the, if you have the idea of the countries, if you have the idea of simple fact that in the world the largest country in terms of area is Russia, followed by the Canada, USA, China, then you can do this question, you can solve this question. But for that you need to read the question properly, and after reading the question properly, you should have that kind of patience, because if let's say you have read the question and just while reading the question in your mind, if you have started thinking that which of the border length I know, so जैसे ही अगर आपने ये सोचना शुरू कर दिया कि कौन सा बॉर्डर लेंथ मुझे पता है कि कितना रसिया और चाइना के साथ जो बाउंड्री है उसकी लेंथ क्या है, रसिया कजाकिस्तान के साथ बाउंड्री कितनी लेंथ है, सो इस तरीके के सोच अगर थॉट प्रोसेस आपका है तो दैट इज नॉट गोइंग टू बी हेल्पफुल. This will not be helpful in your examination. So it will be very difficult for you to solve the question in that situation. So that is why it is very important that don't get panic in the examination. Whenever you come across the question, always try to read the question, give some time. If you will give some time, so there will be a high chances that might be you can apply some of the knowledge. So try to do that also. Try to do that also. So the longest boundary is being shared by the United States and the Canada. One more thing, this boundary of United States and Canada is known as 49-degree parallel. So it is known as 49-degree parallel, and whenever the boundary between the countries happens to be denoted by primarily the latitudes, that latitude happens to be the parallel, that is why it is known as the parallel. In fact, if it is latitude or parallel, this type of boundary is also known as geometrical boundary. So this 49-degree parallel, which is the boundary between USA and Canada, is also a type of boundary, and that boundary is known as a geometrical boundary. There are different places on the Earth's surface where you will find the latitudes beside the boundary. So it is not the only place where we have the latitudinal boundary. There are multiple places on the Earth's surface where the latitudes are demarcating the boundary, and all those boundary will be considered as the latitudinal boundary. Like we have the geographical boundary when we have the rivers, when we have the mountain. In fact, here itself, in case of USA and Canada, water bodies also demarcate the boundary. So in between USA and Canada, we have the water bodies, and also river for certain length, that river is also forming the boundary. So first we will locate some of the water bodies. तो कुछ water bodies हम लोग locate करेंगे. Starting from the Canada, in Canada we have some of the lakes. So we have a lake Reindeer, R-E-I-N-D-E-R, Lake Reindeer is there. Lake Athabasca is there. So Lake Reindeer, Lake Athabasca is there. South of this you will find we have the Lake Winnipeg. Lake Winnipeg you will find. Lake Winnipeg is also the lake nearby where we have the presence of the minerals. So mineral deposit यहाँ पे मिलेगा. Now in southern side you will find Lake Superior. Lake Superior is considered as the largest freshwater lake. Lake Superior is considered as the largest freshwater lake. Now here we have a patch of 5 different lakes. So in North America there are 5 different lakes, and these 5 different lakes are in the patch, and these lakes combinedly are referred as the Great Lakes of North America, which lies primarily between the USA and Canada. So we have a 5 different lakes that are lying in between the USA and Canada, and these lakes are Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, Lake Erie, Lake Ontario. So Superior, Michigan, Huron, Erie, Ontario. These are the 5 lakes that are combinedly referred as the Great Lakes of North America. The very famous city of the Chicago is located on the Lake Michigan. So these lakes are known as the Great Lakes of North America. Great Lakes of North America. So in the sequence you need to remember Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, Lake Erie, Lake Ontario. Means from the west to east we will traverse. So you will come across Superior, Michigan, Huron, Erie, Ontario. In between this Erie and Ontario, you will find that we have a presence of one of the very famous fall. So one of the fall you will come across, that is Niagara Fall. So Niagara Fall you will find lies in between the Erie and Ontario. So between the Erie and Ontario you will have a Niagara Fall. Now quickly look out the most saline lake of North America. So most saline lake of North America lies in the east of the Great Basin, that is the Great Lakes. So east of Great Basin we have the Great Salt Lake, and this Great Salt Lake happens to be the most saline lake of North America. One more geographical feature we need to locate quickly. So there are lots of rivers, तो कुछ important rivers जो हम लोग locate करेंगे. First we will locate the most important, the largest river of North America, that is the Mississippi River. So quickly we'll locate the Mississippi River. Mississippi River happens to be the largest river, and Mississippi drains into the Gulf of Mexico, and Gulf of Mexico is the region, is the area from where large scale agricultural produce are being exported. So Mississippi River helps in the inland transportation. So Mississippi, so central part of Great Plains of North America से जो भी आपके produce है, specifically the wheat will be transported via the Mississippi River, and Mississippi will have one of the tributary that is known as the largest tributary. Combinedly we call it as network of Mississippi Missouri River. So we have a Mississippi River, and here we will have the Missouri River. So Mississippi Missouri gives a great network of inland transport. Mississippi Missouri, and this Mississippi River will have a lots of tributaries also. Some of the tributaries happens to be Ohio River, Tennessee River, Arkansas River. So Ohio, Tennessee, Arkansas happens to be the tributary, major tributary of the Mississippi River. Tennessee River is very much known for the construction of one of the very important river valley project, multi-purpose river valley project, that is Tennessee River Valley project. And in this Tennessee River Valley project they have created a PSU like structure, that is Tennessee River Corporation, and on the same line we also have started Damodar Valley project, and for execution of Damodar Valley project we have created Damodar Valley Corporation. So in India we have in a way taken up, we have adopted the same model of the development that has been followed here in the form of Tennessee Valley multi-purpose river valley projects. Then in between the USA and Mexico, one river that forms boundary is the Rio Grande River. So Rio Grande River is there. Here we have the Columbia River is there, Fraser River is there, Mackenzie River is there, Saskatchewan River is there, Yukon River is there. So these are some notable rivers of North America: Yukon, Mackenzie, Saskatchewan. Also we have a Columbia River, Snake River. Now quickly we'll have some important locations, discussions of the South America. So South America connected with the North America through the Isthmus of Panama, and South America will have a more or less very similar physiography like how we have in the North America. So in South America also the western part is being represented by the mountain, the eastern part is highland, and in between we have a not exactly plain, so little bit different. In case of North America, western side mountain, eastern side highland, in central part we have completely plain. Here in the central part we have a more or less like a plateau region, highland. तो यहाँ पे आपको प्लेट्यू रीजन मिलेगा, लेकिन जो ईस्ट में है और वेस्ट में है यहाँ पे भी आपको माउंटेन स्ट्रक्चर मिलेगा. The most notable feature happens to be the presence of continuous mountain. So the longest mountain range on the Earth's surface you will find in South America in the form of Andes Mountain. So Andes Mountain is the longest mountain range on the Earth's surface. It is present in the South America. Here the highest point of Andes Mountain is the Mount Aconcagua. So Mount Aconcagua is the highest point of Andes mountain. Aconcagua is a volcanic peak. There are other volcanic peaks also. We have a Ojos del Salado, height is 6908. Also we have a Cotopaxi, Cotopaxi is 5896. So Ojos del Salado is there, Cotopaxi is there, Chimborazo is there. So there are different volcanic peaks, and most of the volcanic peaks are on the present on the western side of the South America. Now when you will look out the South America, you will find the coast of South America is very smooth. So western side, the coast of the South America is very smooth. Only in the southern side you will find that we have inundation. Now this inundation is nothing, it is more or less like how in case of northern Europe. So this is known as fjord. This is a coastal landform that is being created by the glacier. So this landform you will find, this type of landform you will find in the coastal area of higher latitude. So coastal area, higher latitude, आपको इस तरीके के landform मिलेंगे, and this is known as the fjord. Here we have the Beagle Channel. So southern side you will find the Beagle Channel, and southern side, south of this South America, nothing is there, no obstruction is there. So if you are standing in the southern side of the South America, you can clearly see the Antarctica. So there will be a clear view of the Antarctica from this southern side. Here we have a Magellan Strait. Magellan happens to be a great story, that how he has started traveling from the Iberian Peninsula and ultimately he has crossed the Atlantic and entered into the new ocean, and that ocean, in the ocean in which he has entered was very calm, and very calm, silent condition. That is why he has named this ocean, that is the Pacific Ocean. In fact, it was the Magellan's team only which first time has come out with this idea of changing of the date. So it was the Magellan's team who has identified, who has experienced that on the earth's surface there lies a line which you will cross, then there will be a change of the date. So the concept of international date line later on has been adopted. So in that also there is a contribution of the Magellan. Few more notable features of this. On the eastern side you will find the Guiana Highland. In this Guiana Highland we have a grassland also, and that grassland is known as Llanos. So here we have a Llanos, this is a savanna grassland. So savanna grasses, the river in this zone is the Orinoco River. Then we have the Brazilian Highland. Here we have a Brazilian Highland is there, and within the Brazilian Highland you will find Campos. This Campos is another savanna grasses. So Llanos in the northern side, Campos in the Brazilian side, these are nothing but these are the savanna grasses. South America is mainly known for the presence of a major area in the equatorial zone, and in this equatorial zone, due to continuous rainfall throughout the year, we have the best developed forests, and these forests are known as the equatorial rainforest. और ये जो equatorial rainforest है, here the equatorial rainforests are primarily known as selvas. So selvas is the region where we have the equatorial rainforest, and in this selvas region we have a most important river, that is the Amazon. So one of the most voluminous river on the earth's surface, that is Amazon, is flowing here. When you will look out some of the political features, then you will find South America is very interesting. Minerals are also present. Some part of the South America is developed, some part of the South America is not developed, and crude oil is present, fishing is activity is being done. Specifically, if you look out the two countries that are landlocked, you will find it is Bolivia and Paraguay. So only two countries which is not having access to the coast happens to be the Bolivia and Paraguay. Short form you can remember is like BP. Within the Bolivia, nearby the Bolivia, you will find the Peru. So capital of Bolivia, you will have a La Paz, which is very near to the Peru, and nearby this capital city, there is a lake, and that lake is Lake Titicaca. So nearby this La Paz, we have a lake, and that lake is known as Titicaca. This lake Titicaca is known for having a most important, highest navigable lake on the Earth's surface. So Lake Titicaca is known to have the highest navigable lake. Nearby this Bolivia, we have a two interesting country. One is Argentina, another one is Chile. So Argentina, Bolivia and Chile. Argentina, Bolivia and Chile, ABC. This northern side of Chile यहाँ पे एक आपको फिजिकल मैप में देखेंगे. In physical map, along the Chile you will have one of the most driest desert on the surface, that is Atacama desert. तो Atacama desert आपका पेरू चिली में है, बट मेजॉरिटी पार्ट ऑफ द चिली लाइज इन द Atacama desert. ये भी लोकेट कर लीजिएगा. ATACAMA Atacama desert. So in this Atacama desert, northern side of Atacama desert, this Chile is very famous for the presence of copper, and here we have a very famous mine also. That is why this Chile is popularly known as the copper city of the world. But in the present time period, other than the copper, this South America is known for one more mineral that is very important mineral. Because in the present time period, in the backdrop of this climate change and the vehicular pollution, we are mainly promoting the EV vehicles, and the EV vehicles for the manufacturing of battery, one very important component that is utilized happens to be the lithium. So lithium happens to be the very important component, and majority of the lithium, almost more than half of the lithium reserve is limited to these three countries. These three countries, and this is mainly in the northern side of Argentina, northern side of the Chile and southern side of the Bolivia, that is ABC, और इसी को कहते हैं lithium triangle. So lithium triangle जो आपका है वो यही है, that is Argentina is A, Bolivia that is B, Chile that is C. इस तरीके से भी आप याद रख सकते हैं ABC, Argentina, Bolivia, Chile. Here in the southern side of the Argentina, we have a Pampas. Pampas is a very important agricultural region because this Pampas is the steppe grasses. So like the steppe we have located in the Central Asia, prairie we have located in North America. So we have the Pampas. Pampas is again steppe, and this is located in the Argentina. So these are some of the important geographical features of the South America. All these locations that we have covered related to the continent is more than enough. Majority of the questions that will be asked in your prelims, you will find will revolve around these locations. So in the limited time period, I have tried to cover most of the world related locations, geographical locations related to all the continents. Now briefly I will discuss few of the important locations related to India also. So now we will move to the India location. तो कुछ हम लोग India locations को भी locate करेंगे. As far as India is concerned, the very first thing that you need to keep in mind that we have the 28 states and the 8 union territory, and the India is the 7th largest country on this planet. So in terms of area, we are the 7th largest country. Latitudinal extent of our country is start from 8 degree 4 minute north to 37 degree 6 minute north. So the country completely lies in the northern hemisphere. Longitudinal extent of our country start from 68 degree 7 minute east to 97 degree 25 minute east. Means the entire country lies in the eastern hemisphere. The northernmost point lies in the UT of Ladakh. Southernmost point lies in the Tamil Nadu. Western part of the country lies in Gujarat, and eastern part of the country lies in Arunachal Pradesh. This is the mainland southern point. If you look out the southernmost point of India, both mainland and the ocean, so the southernmost point you will find is in the Great Nicobar Island, and that location is 6 degree 45 minute north. So 6 degree 45 minute north is the southernmost point, जिसको कहते हैं इंदिरा point. So we have 28 states and the 8 union territory. As far as 8 union territory in India, so we have a Ladakh, that is one union territory. Then we have Jammu and Kashmir. Ladakh and Jammu Kashmir happens to be very much in the news. So you can expect the question from this area. Not directly, so you are not supposed to directly look out the political locations or the name of the city, district. You need to know, you should have an idea, but your focus should be more toward the physical features. So Ladakh, Jammu and Kashmir, then you will have the Chandigarh, then we have the Delhi. So Ladakh, Jammu and Kashmir, Chandigarh, Delhi, then we have Andaman and Nicobar 5th, then we have Lakshadweep 6th. So these are the 6th UT. Now the 2 UT very important. One is the Dadra and Nagar Haveli and the Daman and Diu. Earlier this Dadra and Nagar Haveli and the Daman and Diu was the 2 different UT, but later on it has been merged and now we have a unified UT, and the headquarter is in Daman. And in fact Daman and Diu is 2 different locations. So Daman और Diu एक location पे नहीं है, geographically they are distinct. So headquarter is Daman. And more interesting of Puducherry. Puducherry is the only UT which is not limited to one state, rather it is present in the different states. Puducherry, northern side in Andhra Pradesh you will find Enam is there. Within the Tamil Nadu you will have Karaikal is there, and also in Kerala you will find Mahe is there. So Puducherry territory have the 4 different locations, that is the Enam, Karaikal, Mahe, and all these are the administratively managed by the Puducherry. Now one thing that you must be knowing, but those who are not aware of, because this Puducherry and all the territory it is having under this was earlier the French colonies. That is why they have been managed, they have been part of this Puducherry UT. So in this way we have this is the 7th and this is the 8th. So there are 8 UT and 28 state in our country. India shares land boundary. India shares land boundary. The longest boundary is with Bangladesh. The second boundary is with China. Third is with Pakistan. Fourth is with Nepal. Fifth is with Myanmar. Sixth is with Bhutan. And the smallest boundary is with this Afghanistan. So India shares the land boundary with these countries, and the total length of all the boundary is around 15,206 kilometers. So the total land boundary that India shares is around 15,000 kilometers. Also India shares the coastal boundary. India is having one of the very long coast. As far as the longest coast is concerned on the surface, so longest coastline you will find, longest coastline on the earth surface is of Canada. So Canada is having the longest coastline on the earth surface, but India is also in that list of the longest coastline. It is on the 7th list, and our total coast length is 7,516 kilometer. Now this coast is primarily present in two forms. One is western coast and another one is the eastern coast. Also the Tropic of Cancer passes from almost exactly middle. So Tropic of Cancer passes almost exactly from the middle, but it is not dividing the country in two equal parts. So this is a misconception that some of the students will have. Tropic of Cancer is almost passing from the middle, but because of the shape, because of the structure of the country, the Tropic of Cancer is not dividing in two equal half. In fact, the southern side is half of the size of the north. So ज़्यादा land mass, the major portion of the land of India lies north of Tropic of Cancer. तो ज़्यादा हमारा जो land mass है, that is present in the northern side. और नॉर्दर्न साइड अगर आप क्लाइमेटिकली देखेंगे तो क्योंकि ट्रॉपिक ऑफ कैंसर के नॉर्थ में दैट एरिया इज बीइंग रेफर्ड एज द टेम्परेट रीजन. सो मेजर पोर्शन ऑफ आवर कंट्री लाइज इन द टेम्परेट रीजन इन कंपैरिजन टू द ट्रॉपिकल रीजन, बट ओवरऑल इंडिया इज कंसिडर्ड ट्रॉपिकल कंट्री मेनली ड्यू टू द ज्योग्राफिकल कंडीशन, एंड दैट इज mainly because of the presence of Himalaya. So Himalaya act like a barrier for the polar easterly. Because of the presence of the Himalaya, polar easterlies are not allowed to come into the India. Imagine a situation that the Himalayas was absent. So Himalaya was absent. So in that situation, like what we have learned in case of North America, the middle part is completely open, that is accessible by the polar easterly. तो यहाँ पे भी आपकी polar easterly आ सकती थी, और polar easterly के आने की वजह से most part of the country was supposed to be a barren land, cold desert. लेकिन यहाँ पे ऐसा नहीं है, because we have the Himalayas, and Himalayas act like a barrier. तो एक barrier की तरह से काम करते हैं. Ladakh UT is part of the mountainous area. So we'll look out some of the locations of Ladakh, but before that, let's quickly try to understand the physiography of India. So when you will look out the India land mass, so what you just need to remember, in India, the northern side of the country is being represented by the mountain. We call it as northern mountain. The southern side of the country is being represented by the plateau. We call it as peninsular plateau. और इन दोनों के बीच में एक सैंडविच की तरह से जो आपका सेंट्रल पार्ट है, दैट इज अ प्लेन। नॉर्दर्न प्लेन। सो जो हमारी फिजियोग्राफी है वो कुछ इस तरीके से है, नॉर्दर्न साइड माउंटेन, सदर्न साइड प्लेट्यू, एंड इन बिटवीन वी हैव द प्लेन। सो माउंटेन, प्लेन, प्लेट्यू, प्लेट्यू, प्लेन, माउंटेन, and these are the three major physiographic region, and in between we have a two minor physiographic region in the form, nearby the coastal area we have the coastal plain, and here we have the islands. So in the ocean we have a presence of island, and all along the oceans we have a presence of the coastal area, whereas in the mainland we have a three major physiographic region, northern mountain, southern plateau, and in central part we have the plain. So if you will have the clarity, majority of the problems of yours will get sorted out from where rivers are originating, where the agricultural activity is happening, where we have a more chances of agriculture, where we have more chances of presence of the minerals. And in fact, one more interesting insight which you can remember, in this three major physiographic region, the process of formation is such that this peninsular plateau is oldest. तो जो सबसे पुराना है, जिसको आप कह सकते हैं the land that was part of the Gondwana land, the part which we consider as the Indian plate. So this happens to be the oldest landmass, that is peninsular plateau. When this Indian plate has collided with the Eurasian plate, it has resulted into the formation of the next landmass, and that is the northern mountain. So this is the young mountain or young landmass. So this is oldest, this is comparatively young, but once it has formed, then in between there was a gap, and in that gap rivers have brought the sediments and filled that gap in the form of plain. So this is the youngest. So this is the oldest, this is the youngest, this is also young but not the youngest. So जो सबसे youngest mountain है, that particular, the youngest mountain, the youngest landform in case of India is in the form of northern plain. बहुत ही young है, almost not more than 2 million years. Whereas the oldest landmass is in the form of peninsular plateau. Peninsular plateau में भी आपका कुछ major geological feature हुए हैं, like Deccan plateau. Deccan plateau has been formed through the volcanic eruption when this Indian plate was very near to the Madagascar around 65 million years ago. That time period is also coincide with the wiping out of the dinosaurs from the earth's surface. So when the Indian plate was nearby the present day Madagascar, it has witnessed a large scale volcanic eruption, and this large scale volcanic eruption was primarily a hotspot volcano, and this hotspot volcano was the Reunion hotspot. Due to the eruption of the Reunion hotspot, ultimately the Deccan plateau has been formed. So this should be clear to you, and this is how you need to visualize the Indian landmass. In the northern side India we have a mountain, in the southern side we have a plateau, and in between we have the plain area. Now in this mountain, जो आपका mountain है, primarily we have the Himalaya, but other than the Himalaya we also have some of the ranges. But first quickly look out the Himalaya. In Himalaya you will find we have a three ranges, and these three ranges are the Shivalik, Greater Himalaya, and we have a Lesser Himalaya. So Himalaya basically have three parallel range: Greater Himalaya, Lesser Himalaya, Shivalik Himalaya. This Lesser Himalaya is also known as the Middle Himalaya. So we have a Greater Himalaya, we have a Lesser Himalaya, we have the Shivalik Himalaya. Other than the Himalaya, we also have presence of here Trans Himalaya. So this portion is known as the Trans Himalaya, and here it is known as पूर्वांचल हिल्स. सो जब आप हिमालय का जोग्राफिकल फिजियोग्राफिक ओरिएंटेशन देखेंगे, सो यू विल फाइंड दैट हिमालय इज मोर और लेस लाइक हैविंग अ बेंड, एंड दिस बेंड इज रेफर्ड एज सिंटैक्सियल बेंड. सो ये जो आपका सिंटैक्सियल बेंड है, व्हेन द हिमालय टर्न्स साउथवर्ड इन द नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न साइड, देन इट इज सिंपली रेफर्ड एज द पूर्वांचल हिल. Now, so Purvanchal Hills is the extension of the Himalaya, and this is a Trans Himalaya. Trans Himalaya is more or less like a little bit older than the Himalaya. In the Trans Himalaya, you will find we have a presence of some interesting 3 parallel. यहाँ पे भी आपको 3 parallel ranges मिलेंगी. So here you will have the presence of Karakoram, Ladakh, and Jaskar. So Karakoram mountains, Ladakh mountains, Jaskar mountains. So there are 3 ranges: Karakoram mountain, Ladakh mountain, and the Jaskar mountain. Within the Karakoram lies the highest point of India. So जो हमारा highest point है, that is K2, Mount K2, that is Godwin Austen. It is present in the Karakoram, and between this Ladakh and Jaskar, Indus River is flowing. Ladakh mountain also extends in the Tibet region in the form of Kailash. तो जो आपका Kailash mountain है, that Kailash mountain is nothing but it is the extension of the Ladakh range. So Ladakh range extends in the eastward, and this Ladakh range extension is in the form of Kailash mountain. So we have a Karakoram. South of the Karakoram lies Ladakh mountain. South of Ladakh mountain lies the Jaskar. And in between this Jaskar and the Greater Himalaya, so जो आपका जस्कर के साउथ में जाएंगे तो ग्रेटर हिमालय पड़ेगा, ग्रेटर हिमालय के साउथ में आपका लेसर हिमालय है. इन बिटवीन दिस ग्रेटर हिमालय एंड लेसर हिमालय, और इन बिटवीन जस्कर हिमालय एंड द लेसर हिमालय, वी हैव अ मोस्ट ब्यूटीफुल, मोस्ट इंटरेस्टिंग वैली, एंड दैट वैली इज नोन एज द कश्मीर वैली. तो कश्मीर वैली बेसिकली आपकी जस्कर माउंटेन और पीर पंजाल के बीच में है, ग्रेटर हिमालय और पीर पंजाल के बीच में है. कश्मीर वैली हैपन्स टू वेरी मच इन द न्यूज़, तो बहुत न्यूज़ में भी है. Here we have some of the important. So when you will look out Ladakh Plateau, in the Ladakh Plateau, eastern side of this Ladakh Plateau is being referred as the Aksai Chin area. In this Aksai Chin area, we have the plain also and we have the plateau also. So here you will have the Lingitang plain, Soda plain. So Lingitang, Soda plain, Lingitang plain, Ladakh Plateau, and all these are in the eastern side of the Ladakh range. Southern side is being represented by one of the most beautiful, very important lake, that is the Pangong Lake. तो यहाँ पे आपको Pangong Lake मिलेगी. So this is a Pangong Lake. Then we have a Ladakh range. Here we have a Karakoram range. यहीं पे आपको मिलेगा Depsang Plain. Karakoram range में ही आपको K2 मिलेगा. K2 is also known as the Godwin Austen. Here we have a K2, and this K2 height is 8611. This is the highest mountain of highest peak of India. So highest peak of India lies in the Karakoram range, that is in the part of Trans Himalaya. Here you will find large scale glaciers. तो यहाँ पे बहुत सारे glaciers मिलेंगे. तो NJ9842 के नॉर्थवर्ड में आपको सियाचिन ग्लेशियर मिलेगा. दैट हैपेंस टू बी द हाईएस्ट बैटल ग्राउंड ऑन द अर्थ सरफेस. Then here you will have the Deosai plain is there. Then other few notable glaciers are Biafo Glacier is there, Batura Glacier is there, Hispar Glacier is there. So large scale glaciers you will find. The westernmost range, the westernmost peak of from where it is believed to have first impact has taken place when the Indian plate has collided with the Eurasian plate is the Nanga Parvat. So Nanga Parvat height is around 8,126 meters. So here we have the Jaskar range. So Karakoram, Ladakh and Jaskar range, these are the three parallel range. Between this Ladakh and Jaskar range you will find the Indus river is flowing. Indus river originates from the Tibet region, and after the origin Indus river initially flows northwest and ultimately enters in India, and after flowing in India it will again enter in the Pakistan, where it will be joined by the 5 rivers, and those 5 rivers are known as the Panjnad rivers. तो उसी को आप कहते हैं पंजनाड रिवर्स. पंजनाड रिवर्स आपकी कौन सी हैं? It was also very much in the news, some of the frictions that has taken place in the Galwan, and from this Galwan to Oldie Beg and Daulat Beg area that primarily lies in the Depsang plain. So one more location in the southern side, south of the Pangong So Lake, that is the Demchok. So Demchok was also in the news. Here we have a flow of Indus river, and this Indus river is receiving some of the rivers in the Ladakh region. So it receives Hanli river, it receives Tangse river, Tangse and Nubra ultimately join the Syok river. Syok is a tributary of Indus river. So these are some of the tributaries that will join the Indus river. Janskar river is there. So Janskar river is also the tributary. Now coming to the Indus. So Indus originates from the nearby Kailash Mansarovar lake, and it travels, it enters in India, and after crossing India it will enter Pakistan, and there it will be joined by the Panjnad river, and in Panjnad river we have the Jhelum, we have the Chenab, we have the Ravi, Vyas, Satluj. So Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Vyas, Satluj, that are the Panjnad river. Ultimately nearby the Karachi, Indus river will debouch itself. Now in this greater Himalaya, कुछ greater Himalaya के peaks देखते हैं. Now, so we have a 3 parallel ranges, that is greater Himalaya, lesser Himalaya, Sivalek. अब greater Himalaya, lesser Himalaya, Sivalek को याद रखने के लिए to visualize, I will tell you the very easy tricks. The only thing that you need to understand that height of the greater Himalaya is great. The average height happens to be more than 6,000 meter. तो जितने भी आपके major peaks होंगे, all the major peaks will be part of the greater Himalaya. So whatever the peaks you will come across, Nanga Parvat, Namcha Barwa, Nanda Devi, Mount Comet, Mansalu Peak, you will have a Gauri Sankar, Mount Everest, Makalu, Kanchenjunga, Dhaulagiri, Annapurna, so Kedarnath, Badrinath, जितने भी आप peaks, most of the peak you will come across happens to be the great height, and mostly happens to be have glaciers, that will be part of the greater Himalaya. So greater Himalaya have large scale peaks. South of the greater Himalaya lies the lesser Himalaya. In lesser Himalaya we have a very interesting peak, that is the Pir Panjal. तो ग्रेटर हिमालय के जो साउथ में आपको मिलेगा वो मिलेगा आपको लेसर हिमालय, और कुछ इस तरीके से दिखेगा. ये आपका ग्रेटर हिमालय है, साउथ में आपको मिलेगा लेसर हिमालय, और लेसर हिमालय की इंपॉर्टेंट पीक है आपका पीर पंजाल। इन दोनों के बीच में द मोस्ट ब्यूटीफुल वैली दैट इज Kashmir Valley is located. So Kashmir Valley is located in between the Pir Panjal and the Greater Himalaya. So यहाँ पे है Pir Panjal range is being drained by the important rivers like Jhelum is there, Chenab is there. तो यहाँ पे हैं, and in fact if you will look out the present situation, so this present situation is primarily associated with this area of, so here you will have the Srinagar and here you will have the, so within the Kashmir Valley lies the district of Anantnag, and in this Anantnag district we have the Pahalgam. Pahalgam is being drained by a small tributary of the Jhelum river. So Jhelum की एक बहुत ही small tributary है, that is the Lidar river. So Lidar, that is why this Pahalgam is also known as the Lidar Valley. So because of the presence of this Lidar river, and that is ultimately joining the Jhelum river. Nearby some other districts like you will have the Gandarbal is there, then it is nearby the Kishtwar region, Toda region. जब आप नीचे आएंगे जम्मू की तरफ आएंगे, one more important information. So we have 5 rivers that are considered as the Panjnad river, are major tributaries of Indus river: Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Byas, Satluj. So Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Byas, Satluj are the important river. Now quickly look out these rivers. Indus is originating from the Kailash Mansarovar lake. Jhelum river is originating from the southern part of the Kashmir region. So Jhelum river is originating from the southern part of Kashmir region. There is a spring called as Verinag. So Verinag spring से originate हो रही है. किशन गंगा एक important tributary है. Kunhar river is also one of the important tributary of the Jhelum river. Ultimately Jhelum is draining into the Pakistan. So India से निकल के पाकिस्तान तक पहुंच रही Jhelum river. South में आपकी Chenab river है. Chenab river originate from the Bara-Lachala. Bara-Lachala is the place that is a pass in Himachal Pradesh, and from the Bara-Lachala the river is originating in 2 different head stream. So from here the river is initially originating in 2 head stream, that is Chandra and Bhag. Now this Chandrabhag will combine and they will flow in the name of Chandrabhag, and this Chandrabhag ultimately will become Chenab. So this will become Chenab in its later word journey. Now Jhelum has already entered in Pakistan. Now this Jhelum will be joined by the Chenab. अब यहाँ से आपको समझना है, Jhelum will be joined by the Chenab, and once these two will join, the combined water will be carried by the Chenab. So the river will start flowing in the name of Chenab. So Jhelum और Chenab आपकी join होंगी and then it will flow in the name of Chenab. The southern side of the Chenab there is one more river, that is the Ravi. The source of Ravi and Byas is more or less same. तो दोनों ही river का जो source है Ravi और Byas का, वो है रोहतांग पास. Rohtang Pass you will find is present in Himachal Pradesh. So from this Rohtang Pass, both Ravi and Byas river is originating. Ravi river will join and Ravi river will flow in India, and then it will enter in Pakistan, and there it will join the Chenab river. So this Chenab river will be joined by the Ravi river, and ultimately the river will flow in the name of Chenab. So Chenab has already the waters of 3 rivers: Ravi, Jhelum and Chenab itself. Now this Byas river happens to be the small river, but this Byas river is entirely lies in India. So Byas is a small river, but this river completely lies in India, and because it completely lies in India means it is joining some other river, and the river in which Byas is joining is the Satluj river. And this place where it is joining, we have a Harike barrage, and this Harike barrage is also the origin of the one of the longest canal, that is the Indira Gandhi canal. Southernmost river, that is Satluj river. Satluj river originates from the nearby Kailash Mansarovar. We have the Rakas lake. So nearby Mansarovar, जहाँ से आपकी इंडस का ओरिजिन है, वहीं से आपका सतलुज का भी ओरिजिन है, एंड हियर वी हैव द राकाज लेक. राकाज लेक से निकल के द रिवर विल फ्लो, एंड द रिवर विल नॉट कट द गॉर्ज लाइक इंडस. इंडस इज एंटरिंग इन इंडिया आफ्टर कटिंग अ डीप गॉर्ज, बट द सतलुज रिवर एंटर्स इन इंडिया through the pass, and that pass is the Shipkila. Of course, through the Shipkila it gets the pass and it is entering, but still it is flowing in the mountainous area, and from the mountainous area it will come out of the plain area, and where it will come out of the plain area, there it is having the gorge, and there it is having a very important temple also, Naina Devi Dhar. So Naina Devi Dhar temple is there, which is also the location of the very famous multi-purpose river valley project, that is the Bhakra Nangal project. And Satluj will continue to flow and flow in Punjab plain, and ultimately it will also enter into the Pakistan. So Satluj has already received the waters of Byas. So Satluj will receive the waters of Byas, and it will flow in the name of Satluj. Now this Satluj will join the Chenab river. Chenab has already the waters of Jhelum and Ravi, and then this water will flow in the name of Satluj. और यही जो आपका सतलुज है, इसी को कहते हैं पंजनाड. So the river that is ultimately joining the Indus as a Panjnad river is the Satluj. So please be having a clarity on this, that we have the Satluj river which joins combinedly as a Panjnad river, which is having the water of all the 5 rivers. So this is the flow of Indus and its tributary. So Indus river system and its tributary flow is this. All right. So we have a Greater Himalaya. South of the Greater Himalaya lies the Lesser Himalaya, and in Lesser Himalaya the important peaks of the Lesser Himalaya are Pir Panjal, Dhauladhar. So Pir Panjal you will find, Dhauladhar is also there. Pir Panjal mountain is there, Dhauladhar mountain is there, Mahabharat range is there. So Mahabharat bhi aapko milega. Then south of this, and one more interesting point, how to know that, how to identify this Lesser Himalaya. So to identify the Lesser Himalaya, the best way out is all the major hill stations. So most of the hill stations of our mountainous area, northern India, is being represented by the Lesser Himalaya. So जितने भी हमारे hill station हैं, that is being represented by the Lesser Himalaya. So the best way out is just name the lesser hill stations, that is nothing but the Lesser Himalaya. Be it your Kullu, Manali, Chakrata, Masuri, Ranikhet, all these hill stations are part of the Lesser Himalaya. South of the Lesser Himalaya lies the Shivalik mountain. Shivalik mountain is more distinct. Shivalik mountain is more distinct in the eastern side, that is northeastern side. So in northeastern side you will have the more distinctive Shivalik mountain. Here we have some of the important range like Dafla range, Miri range, Abor range, Mishmi range. Dafla, Miri, Abor, Mishmi. So Dafla, Miri, Abor, Mishmi, these are the part of the Shivalik Himalaya. In fact, the eastern side, the Himalaya happens to be very steep. Height is comparatively lesser, but mountain appears to be very tall because of the steepness. Then the mountain turns southward, and this part is known as the Purvanchal Hills. So in Purvanchal Hills, some of the important hill ranges, Patkai Boom is there, Naga Hill is there, Manipur Hill is there, Lushai Hill is there. Lushai Hill is also known as the Mijo Hills. So Lushai Hills, Mijo Hills is part of the Purvanchal Hills. So we have a Patkai Boom, Naga Hills, Manipur Hills and the Lushai Hills. So these are the some of the important range of the Himalaya. Few more important ranges that you should look out is the Arauli mountain. So Arauli mountain acts like a boundary between the plain area and the southern peninsula. Also you will have the Vindhya range. So between this Arauli mountain and Vindhya range you will find the Malwa plateau, Bundelkhand plateau, Central Highland, Marwar plateau. So that area you will find. South of the Vindhyas you will have the Satpura range, and within this Vindhya and Satpura range the very famous Narmada river is flowing. Narmada river is flowing in the Rift Valley. Here itself you will have the Mahadev hills also there. Here you will have the Ramgarh hills. Eastern side we have the Chota Nagpur plateau. Chota Nagpur plateau is drained by the Damodar river, and Damodar river is almost dividing this plateau in two parts in the form of Hazaribagh plateau and the Ranchi plateau. Then here we have the Raj Mahal hills. Raj Mahal hills. Raj Mahal hills is separated by the Meghalaya plateau. One thing that you need to understand, the most part of the northeastern state lies in the Himalaya, but this Meghalaya region is not part of the Himalaya, rather it is part of the plateau. और यहाँ पे जो आपको important range मिलेंगी, that is Garo, Khasi and Jaintia. So three parallel ranges, three important ranges you will find is the Garo hills, Khasi hills, Jaintia hills. The highest point of Meghalaya plateau, that is the Shillong plateau, lies in this Khasi hills, and the Khasi hills is known to have received the highest rainfall. So highest rainfall also happens in this Khasi hills. Here you will have a narrow stretch of around 20 किलोमीटर wider. तो ये जो आपका सिलीगुड़ी है, सिलीगुड़ी में आपको एक नैरो स्ट्रेच मिलेगा रफली 20 किलोमीटर का, and this roughly 20 kilometer stretch is known as Chicken's Neck, very strategic point. This is through this Chicken's Neck only the remaining part of northeast is connected through the mainland. Also you will have some of the ranges like Gavilgarh, Ajanta range, Satmala range, Balaghat range, Harishchand range. Gavilgarh range is part of the Satpura itself. So Ajanta, Satmala, Balaghat, Harishchand you need to locate. Also you can locate some of the independent range like Dandakaranya region. Dandakaranya region was hotbed for the extremist activity once. In the southern side also you will have some of the hill ranges, like we have a Nilgiri mountain. Nilgiri mountain is the place where the Eastern Ghat and Western Ghat joining. Eastern Ghat and Western Ghat joining, and this Nilgiri will have a highest point, that is Doda Beta. So Nilgiri is the highest point of Nilgiri is Doda Beta. South of this Nilgiri you will find Anaimalai hills. Anaimalai hills is the highest point of the Western Ghat. Western Ghat is the western point of the peninsula, especially Deccan Plateau. So western side is being represented by Western Ghat, eastern side is being represented by the Eastern Ghat. Highest point of the Western Ghat is the Anaimudi. Anaimudi lies in the Anaimalai hills and the height is 2695. Western Ghat, when you will look out, so northern side of the Western Ghat is comparatively lesser height. So in northern side, Western Ghat is of comparatively lesser height, and here the Kalsubai is the highest point. So Kalsubai is the highest point in the northern side. These are some important information. These are some of the important location that you should not miss. And in the mapping there is no limit. So there is no limit in the mapping, but always try to focus those areas which you can from where you can expect more questions, and once you are having a command, then you can look out some other areas. So initially my suggestion will be to all the students that are part of this session, last session and today's session, first of all try to focus on these locations, and if you will focus on these locations, I am sure that you will be highly benefited to this upcoming prelims examination. So that's all from my side. For any doubt, for any query, you can write in the comment, and through the comment you can reach us. Definitely we will try to help out for any kind of assistance in geography or in general also. That's all from my side. Thank you.